The very first step in creating a painting out of your photograph is to start working in Photoshop. Photoshop is a big tool with lots of capabilities, and it can be very intimidating for people who don't understand it. This is why I'm going to walk you through the basic steps needed to do the ones that I do. So here you click on your Photoshop. I like to keep it on my dock on my Mac. And here it is, Photoshop. This is the square that you're going to see. It's got this gray in here. Over here, you'll see that it has these different icons here. If you see the pictures of a brush. Okay, up here it has File, Edit, Image, Layer, Type, Select, Filter, View, Window, and Help. And then over here on the right side of the screen, I have Styles and History in my top box, and then I have Layers, Channels, and Paths in my bottom box. I mainly work with layers. What we want to do is to get a photograph that we like and that we think is something that would turn into a painting fairly well. What you do is you go to Bridge, down here in the dock, and in Bridge is a quick way to look at all of your files. Right? If I click on computer, it is now showing that I have an external hard drive, which is Lisa Sophia. This is where I store a lot of my files because they're so large. And then this is my Macintosh hard drive, the one that came with my MacBook. I'm going to find my photo in my external hard drive, so I double click that. And here's the file that I want to double click. And then it's over here, just so you know where your file is. And what I did is I had one where it says my photos for paintings. These are the photos when I go on a little photo safari, take pictures as an option to maybe paint them later. This one I found on Memorial Day on 2017. I remember going here. I've saved them all into JPEGs, and you should know what JPEGs are. Your iPhone cameras all take JPEGs. Now, I'm going to look through my JPEGs. These are some really fun photos I took. And as I'm looking through them, I had originally found one that I thought might be a good one for display and for learning practices. So if you look here on 3558, that's that image. If I click on it and then press the space key, it makes it large so I can look at it. And let me tell you what I like about this. I like that it has the lighthouse off center. It creates some interest. This tree over there. And then I also like the fuzzy weeds here, but also the mown grass next to it. So it just created a fun, different levels of textures. The sky is really boring. And here in the Northwest, it can be really boring quite often because we get a lot of overcast sky, but I'm going to show you how to play with that. Now, I remember when I was here, there was this peacefulness and calmness. It's called Cape Blanco, and it's Cape Blanco Lighthouse, and it is a beautiful, quiet, serene place. I loved it there. The photo, like everybody says, the photo doesn't do it justice. So for me, I'm trying to remember what it felt like to be there because this is how I'm going to paint it. So then I push the space key again and it makes it small. Now to open it, I can double click on it, or what I've just kind of lazy, I click, drag it down to the little Photoshop box, click on it, drag it into Photoshop. Maybe did it too slow. And there it is. Now if you notice, this doesn't take up the whole screen. It's got some gray around it. If I want it to take up the whole screen so I can see it, I go over here to this tool, the zoom tool. Oh, actually, I go to the hand tool, double click it, and then it's going to be as large as I can see it. Now, it's image 3358, so it has the title that I had it there, and then here it is. Now what I like to do is I like to start with a blank file and start with layers. Now if you think about layers as like a collage, paper on top of paper on top of paper. If you were to do a collage of ripped papers, you would put a base layer, then another layer, then another layer, then another layer. If you can think of like scrapbooking or anything like that, if you can think of layers in that term, it hopefully will be more intuitive for you. But if you look over here, I have a background layer, which is that lighthouse. There's no other layers on it, so it's just one. Now what I would like to do is start with a large file for my, I guess you could say my blank canvas. So I go to File, New, and then you want it to be a certain sizes, okay? So here it does it where it's, you could do it paper size, or you could do it international or photo size. I want to do a custom size and make up my own size. And what I like to use is a 24:36 ratio. Now, if I'm going to click and drag this over to the side so you can see that this image is 10.5 by 15 or 16. It's a strange ratio, but I want it to be 24:36. So I'm going to create a new file where the width is 24 inches because the width is shorter than the height. So the width is 24 and you want it to be inches, and then 36 inches. The resolution needs to be 300 pixels per inch, not per centimeter, per inch. And then the color mode, there's lots of options. You choose RGB color, and then there's 8-bit, 16 or 32-bit. I go to 8-bit. Don't need it to be too huge. And then the background contents, there's white or a background color or transparent. I always choose transparent. Now down here, the advanced, if it's open or closed, you just click on this arrow to open up some advanced sizing. And what you want to do is change this color profile to Adobe RGB 1998. It's my favorite. And then pixel aspect ratio, you want it to be square pixels. You don't have to really know what all of those mean. I'll just say that's what you need it to be. So you may want to take a screenshot and print this page if that helps you when you're remembering how to do a file. So I press OK, and there it is. There's my file. And if you look up here at the ruler, 0 to 24, so it's 24 inches, and then 0 to 36, it's 36 inches down there. So this is the size that I like to work with. Now if you look, it says layer 1. Layer 1 is transparent. That's why you see all these little squares in there, because it's like a clear piece of plastic if you look at that. So what we want to do is we want to start with our collage and layers by taking this image and bringing it over to our clear piece of paper. I guess that's the best way to look at it. So you take it, click on it, drag it down, and then you can take it and you want to be on your move tool, which is this icon up here. It's called a move tool. You click on your move tool and then you click on your image and drag it over. And there it is. So now there's your clear layer, your transparent layer, like your clear piece of plastic, and now you've got a paper on top of it. A lot of times I like to label it so I remember what layer this is, because over here they're pretty small. Sometimes forget what layer is what. So now this picture, I can move it around because I'm on my move tool, but it's pretty small and I want it to reach this whole thing. So what do? I go up to Edit, free transform, and it has a box around it. You can see all of those boxes. Now, if I just started wiggling it, uh-oh, I'm messing with it doesn't look like the right picture, does it? So there's something you can do so that your picture stays the same, because right now it can do anything with it and I'm going to ruin my picture. So I'm going to press return, and I didn't like how it went, so I go over here to my history, and you see how it says free transform? It recorded everything I've done. I'm just going to click out of that and go back to the previous time, and then it's back to the original. Then I go to edit, free transform, and I put my finger on the shift key. Then when I go to move it, do you see how it moves in the right aspect ratio? That happens when your finger is on the shift key. Down, go up, down a little bit, have it go over the edges just a little, and then press return. Now it's transformed. And you now have this piece of paper on top of this piece of paper, and you've started your collage.